it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for my creative scrapbook using the August main kit. Now this month the kit is largely Simple Stories The Little Things collection, but there's also a bit of Echo Park in there and some 49er Market, so a little bit of variation, and there's loads in the kit this month, as well as I think there's about 15 patterned papers. We get a set of foam stickers, a set of chipboard stickers, and I think 2 different ephemera packs, so lots to create with. And I decided to go for a sort of monochrome theme today. So there are lots of pattern papers that have lilacs and purples on them, and then there's a few that have black and white as well. And I've got this lovely photo of my little boy in the lavender fields from last year, and I just thought a purple and black and white colour scheme would work really nicely with this. He's got those black and white sunglasses on. So I've cut some hexagons from several of the patterned papers, and I've done them in different sizes. So I've got 3 different sizes, and then I've layered those into 4 sort of clusters, mixing and matching the papers, so I haven't got sort of all purple on the top and all black at the bottom. It just gives a nice mix and variation, and it helps to spread the colour around the page a bit more evenly as well. So I've distressed all those edges, layered them up with a little bit of foam in between some of them just to create a bit of depth and dimension. And now I'm going to add a little bit of mixed media to my background. So I've pulled out an ink pad from my stash. It was a perfect colour match for this kit, so I was really pleased with that. It's a Catherine Paula designed ink pad, and I think it's called Serenade. And I'm just using the packaging technique just to add a little bit of colour to my background. I'm not going too mad with the water because I haven't used any gesso or anything on my cardstock. It's not mixed media paper, it is just normal white cardstock, so I don't want it to warp too much. So minimal water, just adding a little bit of colouring there and finishing off with some splatters. And a lot of this you won't see because the hexagons on my photo will cover it up, but you can just see there some of the colour peeking out around the edges of the design, which I really love. Just adds a little bit of subtle detail. Then I'm going to come in with some stamping as well. This is a set by Tim Holtz and I love it. It's perfect for adding a little bit of texture to the background and almost a little bit of a grungy feel, I guess. And this is my favourite one, and I only ever use that right hand side of the stamp just for that kind of washed out paint stroke look. And I'm just using black Stays On ink, mainly because I've used the packaging technique with a bit of water for that lilac ink, and I didn't want my stamping to run. And Stays On ink is kind of like waterproof, it doesn't react to water at all. So that was perfect, no runs or smudges there. And I've just added those paint stroke little bits here and there, just peeking out behind those hexagons. Now just to help my photo stand out a little bit, I'm adding a couple of layers of cardstock behind it. So I've added white first, just to give a little bit of a border or a frame, and then I'm adding a layer of black as well. And this is really going to help that photo to pop off the page. And that black just gives it a really solid dark outline. And I'm going to raise this up on foam as well. Having to add quite a bit of foam because some of those hexagons have got foam behind them, so they're already lifted. And I wanted my photo to sit flush without sort of drooping in the middle or sinking down. So I've added, I think, 3 layers of foam behind the centre. That's now in place. And now I'm going to move on to embellishing. So I'm using one of the foam stickers for my titles, and I always love these in the Simple Stories collections, and I was so pleased to see them in the August main kit because they are fantastic for adding a little bit of dimension to your page, and also it takes care of the title for you. I don't have to sit here coming up with a title, it's there ready-made for me. So I've gone with Lovely Day because it's black and white and it's got a few little lilac flowers either side of it, which worked perfect for my kind of lavender photo. So once my title's in place, I can now work on embellishing. So I like to get my title down first because it's quite a large item on the page. I want to make sure I've got the space for it. And then I'm coming in with lots and lots of purple flowers. And most of these have been fussy cut from one of the patterned papers. There are a couple that are from the ephemera pack, but most of them are cut from a paper. And I just loved how they worked with my colour scheme. So I've got lots of those to layer up. I've left a few green leaves on some of them because there is some green in my photo, all this obviously lavender stems. So as much as I was going for a monochromatic look, I have snuck in a little bit of green as well, but that's okay with me. You make your own rules, don't you? So now I'm adding another little part to my title underneath, and it says Here and Now. And again, that's from the foam stickers. And then I'm going to come in now. I've left some of the hexagons a little bit bare, and I'm going to come in with this lovely patterned paper, and it's kind of like a brick wall of different words and sentiments, and that is perfect for fussy cutting. And I did, when I first saw it, envisioned a nice brick wall sort of background design made up from all of these words, but it just never sort of came to life. So I've used it for this instead, and I'm going to cut a few little sentiments and have them sort of layered on top of the hexagons at a sort of skew-F angle, just to add a bit of detail. So I've got over on the right there, it says The Good Life, and then over on the left I'm going to have little details. And again, I'm going to raise those up on foam just to bring in a little bit of dimension, and I love those little pops of black that those bring as well. So perfect. You could really stretch that paper. If you fussy cut that, you could use it for titles, you could use it for journaling, little sort of sentiments like I've done here. That paper could go a very long way. So it's a fantastic paper to have. And because it's black and white, it would mix and match with any of the other pattern papers in the collection as well. So really handy to have. So I've got those in place now. I'm just going to add a couple of little butterflies because I love butterflies on a layout. And I've also added a couple of bumblebees there. So one is chipboard and the other is from the ephemera pack. And the same with the butterflies. One's chipboard and two are from the ephemera. But I love the bumblebees because when we went to the lavender field, obviously it was full of bumblebees. And I was trying to set a really good example for my son and not running around screaming, being scared of them. I tried my absolute hardest because if I panic, he panics. But I literally walked around with gritted teeth the whole day because I hate bumblebees and wasps and things. But I tried my hardest to be brave for him. But yeah, there were lots of bumblebees, so and they're harmless. They were just doing their thing with the lavender, but because the lavender had all overgrown the pathways where you walk up, they kind of brushed against your legs as you were walking. So yeah, I was a little bit freaked out, but that's why I've put some bumblebees on this page because it really reminds me of that. And then I'm just finishing off the page with a few sequins and little bubble gems. So I've got a mix here of purples and blacks, and then those bubble gems, they look like little raindrops on the page. Those are just see-through, just to add a little bit detailing to finish off. And then quite often I just don't know when to stop. I probably should have stopped there, but instead I'm coming in with some black splatters. So I'm using watered down black acrylic paint, and I'm having some larger splatters and some slightly smaller just to finish off the layout. So I've just got some close-ups coming up for you now of my finished layout. I hope you've enjoyed this process. Like I said, this kit is absolutely jam-packed this month. There is so much in the main kit. Do check it out online. There are also 3 other kits to choose from as well. There's the creative kit, the album kit, and the limited edition kit on top of the main kit. So there's a little something for everybody. So I'll leave the link in the description box below to the website where you can check out those kits and join our club and subscribe. I'll also leave a link to the DT gallery where you can head over and have a look at all the DT layouts that have been made using these kits. There's plenty of inspiration there. But thanks very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.